What's up everyone, Carter Stars now. Welcome back to another video. Today we got my AEW Revolution 2025 predictions and I cannot wait for the show. Revolution every year is one of the best shows AEW do. Not just AEW, but it's always one of the best pay-per-views of the year, one of the best shows of the year, no matter which company. So I am very excited and I am looking forward to watching it. It's a great card. I honestly, looking at this card, it is so stacked. Just shows how deep the AEW roster is. And yeah, I cannot wait. So let's get into it. So far, as of recording, there is one match announced for the pre-show, and that is a trios match between Big Boom AJ and the conglomerations Orange Cassidy and Mark Briscoe. They are teaming up to take on the team of MXM and Johnny TV. I love MXM. I think John Morrison's a great wrestler, but they're not beating Big Boom AJ. He's going to bring the boom to AEW once again. Yeah, like they're getting that. It's kind of, I guess it's like a celebrity crossover. You know, he's big on like the internet and stuff. But yeah, not just that, but he's in there with his team with Orange Cassidy, one of the biggest stars in AEW and has been for years. Mark Briscoe again, a big star in AEW. But yeah, I'm happy to see MXM get a big match like this, even if it is only a pre-show. You know, he's in there with Big Boom AJ. They've been getting a lot of promotion and a lot of stuff leading to it. And again, Orange Cassidy's involved there, so they're in there with someone who's on the upper part of the AEW card. So yeah, I'm happy to see Mason, Madden and Mansoor in that spotlight, but they are not going to get the victory here on the 0 hour. And then we move on to the main card, and I don't know where to start. So we're just going to start with the AEW Tag Team Championships. The Hurt Syndicate defending against the Outrunners. Of course, the Outrunners defeated the Murder Machines, Brian Cage and Lance Archer, in a number one contenders matchup with distraction from the Hurt Syndicate. So because of that, I think the Hurt Syndicate will retain here. I think it's too early to take the belts off Lashley and Benjamin. I think there's a lot more left for them to do. And I do think Murder Machines will get involved and potentially we lead to that matchup there and build to that matchup between the Murder Machines and the Hurt Syndicate. But yeah, it should be a fun matchup. I've been really liking the Hurt Syndicate since coming into AEW. Of course, I was a fan of them and their stuff they did in WWE, but they've really slotted in nicely with the AEW roster. You know, one of the best teams in entrance, or one of the best team musics. One of the best team music. I can't speak. One of the best team musics in all of wrestling. You know, We Hurt People gets the crowd going every single night. And yeah, I just think it's way too early to take the belts off of Lashley and Shelton here. So I'm going to go with them to retain, and I do think we will see Murder Machines get involved, leading to something between those two down the line. Then I'm going to talk about the Continental Championship matchup. The Rainmaker Kazuchika Okada, I guess, continues his feud with the Hounds of Hell. The Brody King challenges him now, of course, coming off of Buddy Matthews' challenge at Grand Slam. And I think Okada retains here. But Brody versus Okada on paper sounds like it will be an amazing match. But I love Brody King. And, you know, the last 2 years he's been one of my favorite parts of the C2. So seeing him here, big pay-per-view matchup against the Rainmaker, against Okada. This is, you know, great to see. I love Brody. But yeah, Okada is Okada. He's retained the belt here. Especially, like, this is a nice little continuation on, as I said, from the Buddy Matthews feud. We got that big moment for Buddy in Melbourne. He got injured, sadly. And yeah, so Brody trying to get revenge for his teammate, but I think he will fall short. He will fall short to the Rainmaker. But yeah, happy to see Brody in the spotlight, and I think this will be a banger of a matchup. Next up, we're going to talk about the TBS Championship matchup. Mercedes Moné defense against Momo Watanabe. And I'm a big Momo Watanabe fan. She's one of my favorites over in Stardom. So I'm happy to see her again. Kind of like I said with Brody Lee, I'm happy to see her get a spotlight here. Again, kind of showcasing herself to the American audience, showcasing herself to AEW fans, to like fans that maybe haven't watched a lot of Stardom. Momo is awesome. She's definitely one to watch out. She had a great match with Mercedes for the IWGP Championship last year on one of the New Japan shows. I think it was one of the Strong shows. They had a fantastic match over there. And I feel like they'll have another great match up here. Mercedes is fantastic. Momo is awesome. I do think Mercedes will retain here, but like I said, this is a chance for Momo to showcase herself to a newer fan base, a newer audience. I know she was at one of the Forbidden Doors. Of course, she won this championship opportunity in the 4-way back at Wrestle Dynasty. So, yeah, this is like a full-on AEW card. This is a card where she has a chance to maybe, like I said, showcase herself to fans who haven't really familiar with New Japan or Stardom and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm excited for this one. Like I said, they've already had a great match together, but I just don't see Momo getting the victory here. But like I said, a big chance for her to showcase what she can do anyway in there with Mercedes Moné. Where will we go next? We'll go to the steel cage match between Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher. One of the match, like, it's hard to pick a matchup I'm looking forward to the most because this card is absolutely stacked. But this is up there for one of the matchups I'm looking forward to the most. I've really been enjoying this Kyle Fletcher heel turn and this feud with Will Ospreay. I feel like their previous matchups have been really good. They've had great matchups. I believe they're one apiece. Fletcher won the first pay-per-view match. Ospreay got his win back at World's End in the C2 semi-final. So here's the third and the decider. Like I said, I think their matches in the past have been great. I'm looking forward to see what they can do with each other in a cage. Especially Will Ospreay in a steel cage. I'm expecting them to do something crazy. I'm really excited for this matchup. I do think Ospreay will get the win here and finally put an end to this feud between him and Kyle Fletcher. He'll finally get his revenge on Fletcher for turning against him and the United Empire to join up with the Don Callis family. But yeah, Ospreay and Fletcher in a cage. After the previous matchups, I'm all in for this one. No pun intended. I'm excited. I cannot wait to see what these two do to each other inside of that cage. And like I said, I do think Ospreay will be the one to get his hand raised at the end of it. Next up, another matchup I'm really excited for. MJF vs. Adam Hangman Page. And this one is probably one of the hardest to predict on the whole card. I do not know where we are going with this one. Oh, do I predict Hangman? Do I predict MJF? This whole feud is basically being a slow burn, turning Hangman back towards being a good guy after the whole Chris Daniels stuff, and I've kind of seen regret for taking things too far on Hangman, and I feel like that's why I'm going to go with MJF here. I feel like maybe Hangman starts to take things too far, and he's kind of... We've seen Max play into the stuff with Christopher Daniels, attacking Chris Daniels backstage. And I feel like maybe we'll see something where Hangman, he's about to put an end to MJF, but he just can't bring himself to that dark side yet once more. That allows Max to, maybe hit him with the ring or hit him with a low blow or something and steal a victory. And then in that defeat, we kind of get the full, complete turn of Hangman Adam Page. So just because of that, I'm leaning away, going with MJF to get the victory over Hangman. But like I said, this is probably the hardest one to predict. You have MJF and Adam Page, who are two of the top stars in AEW. This is such a hard one to call. I think it will be an amazing matchup, though. But I'm going to go and just slightly give it to Maxwell Jacob Friedman, MJF, to steal a victory over the Hangman in that one. Now let's follow up with another one of the feuds that I've been really liking in AEW, and that is Swerve Strickland versus Ricochet. It is a number one contenders matchup, with the winner getting a future shot at the AEW World Championship. And whose house is it? I'm going with Swerve, because Ricochet got the win in a bit of a surprising fashion in their last matchup. And I think, this would be Swerve getting his win back and then transitioning back into the title picture and going after the AEW World Championship once again, because as he has said, he hasn't forgotten about that championship that he did once hold, and he wants it back. And of course, I've been liking the story here with Jimmy Rave's robe being involved and Ricochet stealing that. Of course, if you're not familiar with Jimmy Rave, that's the robe that Prince Nana had, and that's why it means so much to him, because Jimmy Rave was the crown jewel at the embassy in Ring of Honor. He then, passed that down to Swerve. And, there's a lot of history there between that robe and Prince Nana and stuff. And I've been liking that feud. Again, I can understand if you're not really familiar with that history of Jimmy Rave and stuff like that, where you might be like, okay, why is there so much meaning? It's just the robe and stuff. But yeah, there actually is a lot of meaning. And I feel like they have touched on it a little bit on commentary, but maybe not too much. But yeah, anyway, I've really been enjoying heel Ricochet. I feel like this is some of the best work Ricochet has done in his whole career. And I'm a big Ricochet fan from like his days in like New Japan and stuff before WWE. But character-wise, this is definitely the best we've seen out of Ricochet. And it's been very entertaining as a heel, and I've been enjoying it. But I do think Swerve will get the win here and turn his attentions back to that AEW World Heavyweight Championship. Next up, we're going to talk about the International Championship matchup, Konosuke Takeshita with Don Callis against the Alpha, Konosuke Takeshita with Don Callis against the Omega, the best bout machine, Kenny Omega. And I'm going with Kenny Omega to beat Takeshita and become the new AEW International Championship champion. I love Takeshita. I think Takeshita's had a good reign as international champion, but the reason I'm going with Kenny is I feel like it's time to move on. Well, I don't feel like it's time, but I would like to move on from the Kenny and Don Callis family stuff, because I feel like it's been gone on for so long. Of course, Kenny had that illness where he was off TV for over a year, so things did kind of get put on pause a bit. But I do think this is Kenny getting his win back and getting one over on the DCF and finally getting a win over Takeshita, because if you do remember, All In, not last year, in 2023, the 6-man, it was Takeshita pinned Omega. Of course, there's Omega and Hangman against Omega, Hangman, and Ibushi against Takeshita, and I believe it was Bullet Club Gold, Juice Robinson and Jay White. And Takeshita pinned Kenny in that matchup, and then a week later at All Out in the singles matchup, Takeshita got the win. So I feel like, this is Kenny finally getting his win over Takeshita and getting the championship, the international championship, and hopefully again moving on from the Don Callis family stuff, because I'd like to see the Don Callis family do more stuff outside of the Kenny stuff. I'd like to see Takeshita do stuff away from Kenny. Like I said, with the Will Ospreay feud, I feel like we'll get Fletcher moving away from Ospreay. So I'm interested to see what would be next for the Don Callis family. Who would they target next? Who would they go after next? So yeah, I'm going to go with Kenny to get the win here. I'd like to see Kenny with the championship. I think he will get the win back over Takeshita. And yeah, I'm intrigued to see what Takeshita does next and what the Don Callis family will end up going to do next. Then we had the Hollywood ending, which will be Toni Storm and Mariah May. What a feud this has been, from Mariah May coming in as Tony's understudy, to turning on her after winning the Own, to winning the belt at Wembley and All In, to losing the belt at Grand Slam, to now. We have reached the Hollywood ending, and I think timeless Toni Storm will retain. I just don't see them putting the belt straight back onto Mariah. So soon after putting it onto Toni, okay, that devalues Toni winning it at Grand Slam. And also, I feel like this, they marketed it as the Hollywood ending. I feel like this is the culmination, the end of this big legendary feud. I call it legendary because I love this feud. I think it's one of the best feuds in AEW history. It's up there with Hangman Page and Kenny Omega for me, with one of the best stories told in AEW. So yeah, I'm really, really liking this, and I do think now is the perfect time for it to come to an end. I feel like we are at the end of it, and I've really enjoyed the past two matches. I like the Grand Slam match. I like the match at All In. And yeah, Falls Count Anywhere matches, what has been said here. it will be a bit of a brawl, it'll be a fight, and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm expecting blood because it builds up to the previous matches. There has been blood, and also I think at All In, Tony got busted open as well. But yeah, I'm excited for this one. I do think Timeless will retain over Mariah May. Then we have the AEW World Championship matchup, Jon Moxley versus Adam Copeland, also known as Just Cope. So yeah, Cope versus Mox. I've actually kind of liked this Dead Rider stuff. Again, a lot of people kind of hating on it. A lot of people kind of complaining on it. A lot of people are not really a fan of this matchup and the build to this matchup, but I haven't minded it. I don't think it's been anything that bad. I guess maybe like people just want someone younger than Cope to be in this title picture. And I was fully convinced Moxley was going to retain until Grand Slam, and then at Grand Slam he choked Cope out, and now I'm kind of thinking, are they going to put the belt on Cope? Are they going to do it? Then you also have the factor of Christian Cage and that title opportunity he can cash in any time. Is he going to cash in during this? Is he going to cash in on Cope? I really don't know where we go with this. Number one contenders matchup is Swerve and Ricochet. So what would make more sense? Swerve or Ricochet against Cope, or Swerve or Ricochet against Mox? And I feel like Swerve and Mox is the direction that sounds the most appealing to me. Swerve and Cope could be good. Even Ricochet and Cope could be good. I don't think it'll be Ricochet and Mox. I don't see them doing heel, especially with Ricochet just establishing himself and getting over as a heel. The Death Riders, they're heels. So, I don't think Ricochet and Mox is on the table. So if Ricochet wins and becomes number one contender, then I feel like, alright, that kind of guarantees Cope winning. Because I also don't see them doing Ricochet and Christian. But I can predict that I do think Swerve wins that one, so again, that's a bit of a non-factor. They can do Swerve and Cope face-to-face, I feel like will work. Swerve and Christian would work. Swerve and Mox works. But I'm going to go with Jon Mox here. I feel like Cope isn't the guy to dethrone and put a stop to the Death Rider stuff. Again, like I said though, a lot of people haven't really liked the Death Rider stuff. They've been complaining a bit. So maybe AEW are like, alright, let's just call an audible. Let's just put an end to it right now and stuff like that. Has it been the greatest thing AEW have done? No, but I don't think it's been as bad as people have been complaining about. I feel like with a long-time storyline like this, you need a bit of patience to build someone up. And I'm going to use the NWO for example. If the internet was around now, people would be complaining about the NWO the same way they've complained about the Death Rider story. They would not have had the patience to wait a year plus for Sting to, finally wrestle, finally get that match with Hogan, and finally beat him for the championship. I know that a couple people have had lit runs between that. Luger picked up the belt and lost it straight back to Hogan and stuff like that. People would have definitely complained about the NWO and stuff like that. They would not have had the patience to wait for Sting to win the belt at Starrcade. Even if WCW botched that ending, people wouldn't have had that patience. People would have been complaining the same way they are with the Death Riders. And I'm not saying the Death Riders are on the level of the NWO. I'm just saying it's too early. And I know it's going on for about 6 months or so now. But with a long-time storyline like this, you need your ups and downs in the middle. You need to build up people, and you need to have them dominate for a bit, and until you reach that conclusion, and until you reach the ending, you can then look back and say, yeah, that wasn't good, that didn't work because of this, and this. And yeah, you can look at things and say, oh, I'm not really liking this and this. But I feel like you can't say something. Well, you can't say something hasn't worked if it hasn't been connected and stuff. But I'm saying you can't have a definitive answer on whether something's good or bad until you get to the end. Because AEW could turn this around and they could finish to the Death Rider story could be what people have wanted all along, and people will turn around and say, "Oh yeah, that was actually good." But if they have Cope win it, I feel like people will like see that it was pointless to just give the belt to Cope and stuff. What about this whole thing of like, oh, building up this guy and this guy? And yeah, the whole like Death Rider stuff looked like it was going to build up like Darby to beat him on to dethrone him. Like I said, with Darby, it took Sting a year before he even challenged Hogan, before he even had a match. Darby's taking them off, he's climbing Everest like he's planned and stuff. I feel like have Mox retain and hold out for Darby and have that perfect, that good ending. And again, a lot of people are saying, oh, well, how is he facing Cope going to elevate the younger guys and all this? But that actually isn't the reason he challenged those younger guys and he told those younger guys to step up. I can't remember exactly which day he cut the promo on, but I seen this recently. It just came up again, this promo. And in that promo he talked, he's like, I'm doing this because this place, I love AEW and I want to save AEW because AEW is being driven by egos. And what's one thing people want, a big criticism people have of Cope is, oh, he's not putting anyone over, he has a big ego, stuff like that. That plays exactly into that one promo, that promo John Moxley cut. Whereas like he's doing this, he wants the younger guys to step up because he wants to get rid of all these old people, all these people with egos. And again, that plays into the perception people have of Cope. So this Cope match does make sense, but is Cope the guy to dethrone Moxley and end the Death Rider stuff? I'm gonna say no. And because of that, I'm predicting John Moxley. Do I think John Moxley actually will retain it? I'm not 100% sure. I do think there is a chance Cope could walk out as AEW World Champion. But I'm a big Edge fan. I'm a big Adam Copeland fan. And honestly, I won't complain. People would. But I wouldn't, just because I like Edge and I like Cope. So yeah. If that's going to be it, let me know your AEW Revolution predictions in the comment section below. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.